Greetings viewers, JLB here, back with a brand new edition of Animation News Update, and today, it's all Nickelodeon. I'm going to be discussing two films that just recently got released on Netflix, two films which feature Nickelodeon characters, and an idea that I came up with, and I think you're going to like the result of it. So without any further ado, with all that being said, and out of the way, let's get started. So, the first film that was released on the Netflix featuring Nickelodeon characters is called Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling. I'm not familiar with the plot of this or the other movie that we're going to be mentioning because I haven't watched them yet. However, I can talk a little bit about the show that it came from. You see, the movie features a wallaby, thought he was a wombat, a wallaby by the name of Rocko, living out his regular life in the 90s in the town of O-Town, along with his two best friends, Heath and Filbert, and his faithful dog, Spunky. I'm going to be talking about this show a lot later down the line in Animation Television History Tour, but as for the movie, I'm going to be discussing that on animated cinema. But all I can say is, it's a real return to force for Rocko and those characters that many of us, I didn't, but many of you probably grew up with in the 1990s on Nickelodeon. The second movie happens to be a return to form for another character from the late 90s by the name of Invader Zim. The second Nickelodeon movie that came out recently, in fact, they came out today on the Netflix, is called Invader Zim Enter the Florpus. Unfortunately, I haven't seen that film either, like I previously mentioned. But as for the show itself, it basically follows the antics of a extraterrestrial by the name of Zim from a planet called Urk and his attempts to conquer our world. Again, I'll be talking about the show later down the line with the Animated Television History Tour, and I'll be talking about this film later down the line on Animated Cinema. But for the case of this video, I just want to point out the release dates. Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling came out just a couple days ago, and Invader Zim Enter the Florpus came out today. So if you have Netflix, definitely check them out. Might be worth it if you grew up in the 90s. And the early 2000s, which is when Invader Zim came out. My apologies for giving out the wrong time frame for Invader Zim. But anyway, time for the biggest news of all. Alrighty then. The last bit of news we're going to be discussing is something that I'm really excited about. See, I'm a bit of a story guy, meaning that I can come up with ideas for a movie plot or the plot of a television episode, or I could take existing material and put my own personal twist on it. Material that hasn't made it to the public yet. I can put my own twist on it and make it original. However, this idea is for the second thing that I mentioned. Television episode ideas. The television show I'm talking about is called Butterbean's Cafe, which some of you with younger siblings or nieces and nephews or grandchildren have probably seen. But in this case, an idea for an episode that I came up with, a Halloween-themed episode that I came up with, was picked up by Brown Bag Films, thanks to a very kind person whom I'm not entirely sure about their real identity, but they're called CGI Genius, whatever that name is supposed to mean. But thanks to him or her, I managed to get my idea to Brown Bag Films out in Toronto, Ontario, meaning my episode idea might just come to life. I was told that the episode should air around the second or third week of September. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that's true. In the meantime, you all keep your fingers crossed as well. I am super excited to see how this comes out. In fact, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I might just do something very special to commemorate the episode. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and definitely stay tuned on to both Netflix and television because of all the big news that I just announced. Anyway, that's it for this edition. Thank you for joining us. This has been Animation News Update.